Hello, this is Ramona Quinn again, and I am releasing my second video. This one is entitled, Sorry Tumblr, Clothes Are Gendered. Now, you might be confused. I know that a lot of people who have been, studying gender theory have, spent some time on Tumblr, and they've probably come across the idea that clothes are not gendered. I'm here to tell you that's simply not the case. They absolutely are. Now, the most powerful gender signifiers, as I talked about in my last video, are feminine clothing, especially dresses, or skirts as well. Now, when the average person goes outside and sees someone dressed in a dress or a skirt, they're going to assume that either they're a woman or that they want to be a woman. The thought never crosses into their mind, that's clearly someone who wants to be a man, who wants to be masculine. They don't think that at all. Society is built that way. And clothes have just simply been slotted into these particular genders before. I know there's exceptions with certain pieces of clothing, but for the most part, clothes are gendered. There has been this great desire to take what is and turn it into what it ought to be. Now, ideally, in an ideal world and society, clothes would be genderless. But we don't live in an idealized society. We live in a world in which a dress or a skirt or a halter top or a crop top is going to signify either being a woman or being extremely feminine. It's not going to signify that you're a man. It's not going to signify masculinity. It's not going to signify that you're some really ridiculous non-binary gender, in which your gender is related to a flagpole or a fire truck. That's not going to go through people's minds at all when they see you. They're going to usually have a very narrow point of mind about that. And I think it's time that we actually acknowledge that instead of trying to idealize it before society has even come to that. You have to actually take on what is actually happening in the world and not just ignore it and replace it with your own hopes and dreams. Now, there's also another reason why clothes are gendered, and I think it's a good reason. It helps with protection. Now, when I say protection, I mean trans women, or as I say, a KMAP women, which means coercively assigned male at birth. Now, KMAP women, a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us do wear dresses and skirts and very plainly feminized clothing options. And we do that so A, it lowers the chances of people clocking us, and B, it makes us feel good about ourselves. It helps with our dysphoria. It helps us feel like we are a woman. I know when I went to the theater earlier, I wore a dress, this actual one right here, and I felt very comfortable as a woman. I felt like I was a woman in a way that I'm not going to feel in baggy pants or, anything like that. They make us feel good. A lot of us do. I'm not going to speak for every one of us, but I would offer the vast majority. It does make us feel good and it keeps us safer. Anything to make us look more like how society pictures women is going to keep us safer. So I really don't understand why the discourse wants to take that option away and pretend that we are doing something wrong by so-called, reinforcing the gender binary in relation to clothing. That's not what we're doing. What we're doing is playing by the rules to ensure safety. Now, there's also the points that we need to discuss in which gender neutral does not mean masculine. I'm sorry, that's not how that works. An AFAB person wearing, men's jeans or a button up men's shirt, that's not gender neutral. Those are men's clothing. And people are going to assume that either you're a man or you're trying to dress like one. Butch lesbian, whatever. That's going to be what people assume. People aren't going to look at you and say, that person's non binary. That's not what they're going to do. Masculinity is masculinity, it's not gender neutral. You have to stop trying to destroy femininity for everyone just because you want to wear masculine clothing. You can do it. You can wear masculine clothing. No one is stopping you. No one at all. But don't lie to us and try to claim that it's gender neutral. Try to claim that you're doing something radical because, honey, you are not. You are not being radical. You're wearing masculine clothing, and it's okay to be okay with that. You don't have to try to change the world just because you want to wear some baggy jeans. So, anyway, that is my whole point. Sorry, Tumblr. Clothes are gendered.